Not unusual. Thinking green and black. At all?
Well, now it's on.
Okay. Can you hear us now? Hello, out there in the verse. This internet stream. Yay!
There's playing in that.
So you can hear us. Yes. I knew you now. What? I hear you now.
All right, wait. Does our voices sound like it's too close now or too far, or does it just sound similar to how it normally does? That's a big question.
Yeah, that's another question.
I know. Again, well, now that you can hear me, I got to reiterate, and I said this when we were essentially muted, is that my voice is a little hoarse. We said a lot during that time.
Yeah.
Our viewers missed on a lot of good stuff.
We actually was talking about the meaning of life.
Yeah.
And we gave a lot of good stuff out there.
And
we just put it out there for the world to have.
Answers that would completely change somebody's life. Man.
We were serious about it.
Yeah. Wait, do I have to keep holding this, or can I pin this down?
You can clip it, but don't try not to turn it off while you're pinning or clip it.
Okay.
No. I think it's good. All right, yeah, that works pretty good.
All right. Are we still audible?
Can you still hear us? Sounds great.
All right.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do? Here's another thing I'm wondering. Here's what I'm wondering. What happens when we play a video? Is that video then gonna play, or are we gonna? Because I think there's a microphone connected to the connecting part that's connected to these two wireless. So let's well,
there's only one way to find out.
This sounds like a test show we're doing. Jesus. All right. If we were better YouTubers, we would have did this earlier.
It is a Saturday show, Essentially, they didn't expect us to be here.
It's a pop-up show, right? Yeah. It's an emergency show. The world, the sky is falling.
What was I looking for? All right.
Wow. The last one I sent you.
Yeah.
Wait, just let's see if they can hear it. Just put it down. I don't even want to show any visual because they'll try to give us a strike. Fair use.
Music mogul Russell Simmons stepping away from his businesses.
Russell Simmons.
Can you hear that?
His big name left to defend himself.
9 women accuse Simmons of a wide range of misconduct, from vulgar language to assault to 4 instances of rape.
Yes, she can hear it.
What did he do? He raped me right up against the wall.
He raped me up against the wall.
Sorry.
No tears, by the way. No tears.
Tackled me to his bed while I screamed.
He tackled me to the bed while wearing a condom. So you were in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that part.
If the allegations are not true, why would all these women accuse you? I heard someone else say that I was quite frivolous. Look, there's a song by Houdini. I'm a hoe, I'm a hoe. 3 different girls after every show. Culturally, we thought that was the right way. And a number of sexual partners in compromising positions I put myself in is beyond anybody's imagination.
You said you had more foursomes than most men have partners.
Damn.
Yeah, and that wasn't really that. I think it was cultural and silly and egotistic and sad and from an insecurity that feeds it, and a lot of reasons why we were that way. If you slept with as many people as I slept with, thousands, and we're talking about 6 people.
There were like 20, right? I mean,
I spoke all. Oh, you mean like That's not, no, I spoke poorly to 15 of them. I mean, 12 of them. I spoke poorly all the time. I'm a Def Comedy Jam guy. I was crude. So how many compromising situations was I in? And if you call that person and say, can you help me help these other women? Then you can get them to tell a story and reimagine a story. And I'm not here to say what they were thinking, but I can simply tell you that I was in so many compromising situations that people can have a recollection from 30 or 40 years ago.
Positive.
And it can be different from my recollection.
All right, there's some video.
And it could be one minute.
He's in Bali, so it's like the wilderness.
Okay.
So could someone leave and feel hurt? Could someone leave and feel they wish they hadn't? Could someone reimagine a story out of thousands of people? Could someone want notoriety in a market where people thirst for fame, even infamous?
It sounds like
it
sounds like he speaks in parables.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because they had an experience and they can reimagine it just a little bit different. And could you be vulnerable enough to accept it? I took 9 lie detector tests. People don't know that. 9 separate. 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph Association. 1 for each of the serious accusations. 1 for when someone said, for instance, I was violent. One person said that. I've never been violent. Took that. 1 for I apologized. I never apologized about assaulting anyone. But if 2 people say it, because one said it and me too, and the second person said it, then I took a test for it. 3 hours per test by 2 polygraph examiners. One that I've never done to anyone and one I've never done to each individual. Some people say that they're not accurate, but if they're 94% accurate, I did 9 of them. Pretty clear that I don't believe it. I even asked what if I believe it, but it's not true? He said, your subconscious will get you. I don't know how true that is, but that's what was told to me by the chairman of the Polygraph Association. He was filmed, by the way, talking about this, so there's footage available. No one in the mainstream would cover that.
Why do you think that is?
There's a narrative.
Which is what?
That we don't want to go backwards. We want to believe with it. But women and celebrities may be in some cases a little different. But we don't want to not believe women. We have to believe women. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we can't demonize people without proof either. Twitter cannot make a decision. I've never spoken to a policeman. I've never spoken to a judge about anything. So who's the judge and the jury here? Maybe you haven't lived in the real world. It's gray. No one's intentionally hurt anybody. It's a big difference. No one pushed anybody in. Being pushy is different from pushing someone. It's very gray.
Rape is a strong allegation in some of these stories, or that you pin women down. I mean, like bad stuff, either happened or it didn't, right?
Yeah, it's a serious word, but I think they've changed the meaning.
How so?
Because I've never been violent to anybody. Rape is a violent crime. So it is a very serious. Somebody jumped out of bush and raped somebody. It's different, I think. So it's a different kind of recollection. So I don't think anybody's saying I'm violent. Of course, I've been insensitive, but certainly I've never been forceful in any of my relationships. All of what I've had have been consensual.
What errors in judgment do you think you made, looking back?
The only thing better than White Claw Black Cherry or salsa is mixing it with White Claw Black Cherry flavored pumpkin. Ooh, wait.
My goodness. We all need to learn to be better listeners, all of us. I think that the culture and the climate was different, and the way people interacted was different. And I think to judge 40 years ago as if it was today, we get in trouble. We have to accept where we were and move on and be somewhere else in the future if we don't like where we were. And I think that we're doing that now. And I think that's the good that comes from me too. And, I think this next generation should be more sensitive, and we should have a new way forward. And this is helping us to form a new way forward. It's a great movement. It's done a lot of great work for women. It sensitized men in ways they were not sensitized. And
Agreed.
for that, I'm grateful.
If you had a do-over with that period, what do you think you would do differently?
A lot, but I don't have a do-over. This thing about practicing, being here now, and accepting what you learned and move forward. We can't do over. I haven't spoken to anybody for 5 years. It's ruined my life. It's ruined my relationship with a lot of everything. All my 5 charities have gone down. I had a lot of work. I had a lot of people I was trying to help. I had a lot of things I was doing. And I've been locked out of it. I don't want this to be a trigger to turn everything around again.
At some point, somebody's going to ask you about this, so why not do it in a controlled environment where
Does it control when you go to Graham?
No.
All right, well, let's go.
Wait, explain why November 23 is an important month for you.
Oh, well, they've had a year, the accusers, to sue me, and I haven't been sued. But I kind of believe that a lot of stuff's been in the media. First of all, 40-year-old stories are quite hard to prove, I guess, but in civil suits, maybe not. But they're 40-year-old stories, but they've been covered by the media. But I can't speculate as to why I haven't been sued. But we're talking about 6 serious accusations.
What do you think of the doctor?
I didn't watch it. Why not? Because it's not true. And I think that Oprah said the story.
Oprah also came out and said
I stand in support of these women. I believe them. It was a hard decision because I knew that Russell Simmons had started publicly pressuring me, and that me pulling out of the documentary was going to look like I was being pressured.
How do you square the two?
Well, she said she believed women. But if you want to call Oprah, I can give you her number. She made a movie about some women, and then made it very public that she was making the movie, and then she made the movie, and then she walked away. She has not come back and support him. She is a supporter of Black women or not. You should call her. She will not defend those women. Those Black women that she said she supported, she will not defend them. She cried on the phone to multiple witnesses that she didn't even know, because she learned that hurt people, and that her stories, as an investigative journalist herself, she knew those stories should never have been printed, much less made a movie about.
What conversations did you and Oprah have during that process?
Well, the first thing I called her and I said, I'm glad it's you making the movie, because people rush to judgment, and you're a reporter. I said, well, have you spoken to anybody who was there at the time or around that time? And then she called them. She studied them. She read their books. And then that's caused her to walk away from the movie.
What she had said, just to be clear on like CBS this morning, was that she felt more time was needed, and
to
because
make a whole
the producer
not about me.
wouldn't.
She said to change it. She said to change the whole thing. And what she told me, she told her she wanted to change the entire thing to a documentary about men in general, about the whole music industry, and that I couldn't be a subject anymore because she had found too much contradictory evidence about the stories about me. That's what she told them. That's what you could ask her that. Everybody she interviewed, she taped. She taped about 20 witnesses. Those tapes are available. If you're investigating this, maybe you should dig into those tapes. I don't want to go far into this discussion because it is a very sad moment. It was the most traumatizing experience in my entire life. It hurt my children. There are people with 40 accusations. You'd be interviewing them right now, and this subject wouldn't come up. So I feel a little bit targeted, but please continue.
And I was going to say, to be clear, this is not an investigation. You have not really talked about this before, and so I was merely trying to get your thoughts on
I don't want to sound defensive, but yes, I told my children I would not speak about this.
Yoga, GDAS, and Hip Hop 50 are the 3 remaining topics, and I want to get
a little bit with you sitting down about yoga and jidas, and we shape my life to be a good life and be a servant to God, or you can me up. It really is that. It really is. It could be that dramatic. You know, and it's been because I left and I spent so much time here. People have assumed that I really left and ran, even though I'm back in America all the time. I'm behind the 8 ball. So I'm not expecting you to put yourself, make you look like you're wrong about anything, or that you're in favor. You have the tools. Please don't. You have the tools to provide context, and context in any story is everything. Everything. Yep. What have the past 5 to 6 years been like for you since 2017? Well, I've written 4 books. I built a hotel. We have a talent agency that has 300 people working all around the world. And I live in Disneyland, yoga and vegan Disneyland. So God gave me a new lease on life and new things. Also a lot of self-reflection. How can I make that better? How can I be a better person? So I just got to accept that what I've been through is God's way of, refocusing me on being a better servant. These 5 years have been both a gift and a curse. How's it been a curse? Well, it's been a curse because I've been demonized in ways that, and I could never defend myself enough. There's no way you can defend yourself. So for me, I have to accept the scar that they've demonized me in ways that I don't see myself, and people who know me don't see. And at the same time, I accept responsibility for having been insensitive. I've been a lot of things. Never intentionally hurt anyone. I know people are hurt, but I didn't intentionally hurt anyone. And I was never told by anyone that such a thing occurred. People will decide whether you are a good or bad person, or bad or innocent or good, by their pain body and their experiences. That's what's going to decide how they feel about you, and you can't change them. And again, I have to live with the scar.
Okay, read this.
Oprah Winfrey provides a comment for this video.
She does provide a comment.
No, declined.
Oprah Winfrey declines to provide comment for this video, for this episode. Let me turn that off. It's so loud. We reached out to the women who accused Simmons of grape. We spelling it backwards, EPAR, for algorithm purposes. For response. Okay, here's a good one. Andrew Wilson, attorney of the Shear and Saula Abrams, whatever that is. Both Share and Sheila Abrams. I guess this is the law firm.
Yeah, have consistently and credibly alleged for years that Russell Simmons raped them. Their accounts echo the experience of many other women who have made similar allegations against Simmons. Simmons denies and failure to confront the brutal legacy of what he literally describes as his lifestyle are shameful.
All right, turn it on and just go to the next one.
What do you mean? Next one?
There should be another one. These are just basically like comments that are left after this video. It's like 4 parts. I've seen all 4 parts. This seems to be the best. Yeah.
Drew Dixon, I do not wish to revisit this, but I will repeat what I have shared previously, namely in the 2017 New York Times article and the 2020 documentary. On the record, long before there was an Adult Survivors Act, Russell Simmons raped me. He knew that I did not want to have any kind of sexual contact with him whatsoever, so he set a trap as my boss to sexually assault me. I have nothing further to say.
Right. And this is all this stuff is being done before the timeline of November 23rd, 2023. This is when Cassie and all these people were putting in their lawsuits to try to make this timeline, this adult, like any person who was in these situations that wanted to sue someone, they had a timeline. And according to Russell, that timeline, no one has come through, no one has come forward with that. Mainly because of the movie that Oprah made, which I didn't even know she made a movie. I knew
I
that
never heard of that.
she was going to make a movie and then pulled out because, according to one of his tweets, he called her directly and was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I have to say, as many times as Oprah has been on Epstein's plane, it's the last thing she needs to be talking about is anybody doing anything ill of ill repute.
Yeah.
She's the last person that needs to go there, especially the fact that she's unmarried, no children, and best friends with Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. She's like, real close to these people, and I would, think that she should be the last person to get involved. So she pulled it back because she basically read and saw that there was a lot of conflict here, and like not conflict in their stories. The stories changed so many times it'll make your head spin. So, what say you about this guy living in Bali? And then the other episodes talk about you talk about the hotel that he built, talks about the retreat and all the different cryogenics labs they have as far as like hot steam rooms, cold water steam baths, and all kind of the most sexiest things you could ever imagine. It's like a straight up retreat. One of the bungalows has Snoop Dogg's like lane or something like that because he likes to go there. Yeah.
So wait, Russell Simmons has this lavish place in Bali where, I guess, it's a celeb getaway or for some people.
And he says he had 150 people working day and night on the facility. The place is breathtaking.
I mean, that's what rich people do. But as far as, I don't know if, I do think he probably, now that he's living there full time or, mostly, I do think it's to escape a lot of these allegations.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Non-extradition.
In India?
Yeah. And not in India, in Bali.
Okay.
And Bali, I had a friend that lived in Bali. And he would have to leave every 60 days because he was not a citizen of Bali. So every 60 days he had to leave. He was always in Istanbul and Africa. He was like doing all this stuff. He only left with 150K. And after like 3 years, he was like tapped out because of all the having to leave Bali. Because he went there to be with a woman that he fell in love with, an American woman. And she went out there to Bali and she became a citizen by paying the officials. And she first paid the officials something like 25K, 25,000 euros, and it didn't work. And then she did it again, this time spent 50K, 50,000, and was able to become a citizen of Bali and own property. See, from what I was told about Bali is you're not allowed to own property and do any kind of business unless you are a citizen of Bali. So I wonder what's really going on with Russell, because Russell is, let me make sure they can hear us. LJ, can you still hear us? He wasn't a citizen, so every 60 days you have to leave, and you have to leave for 2 weeks. So Russell says that he's been in America often. So that's probably when he comes, that 60-day mark, he has to, jump on a plane and head back or whatever have you, or go wherever. My buddy went everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Russell Simmons' money is so much longer than my friend. My friend, his 150 lasted only 2 years or 3 years. But he lived like a king the whole time. They had servants and people he didn't have to do anything. Everything was taken care of for them the whole time. But do you think maybe Russell is a citizen of Bali? Did he finesse that opportunity? Because if a friend of mine's, his woman, she was able to finesse it as an American, cost her 20 grand, then another 50 grand. Do you think Russell Simmons is now a citizen of Bali, able to buy property and build on Bali? And how did he do that? Did he finesse his way through this this red tape, so to speak, this bureaucracy of Bali and the citizenship and how they move things? What say you on that?
I mean, I think that if your friend was able to do that with $75,000, I'm sure Russell Simmons can. But wasn't he already building property there? Aren't they living? Because what he looks like he's living on is that's
but you're allowed
private property.
You're not allowed to buy unless you're a citizen.
Yeah, so I assume if your friend was able to do it with a certain amount of money, I can't imagine that.
Still on the beat, Juice, y'all. I'm listening.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that Russell Simmons hasn't been able to broach that. But I think as far as his allegations and stuff like that, I guess, because are we here to talk about his allegations specifically?
Not really. I mean, he's finally talking other than tweeting, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad Russell is talking about it. Like, he's basically saying, like, yo, I've been with thousands of women, and you got a group of women that, for whatever their reasons are, has made these allegations against me, and they had a timeline, and they never did anything about it, and the movie went nowhere. So his issue really is that his legacy, you know, all the good he did for the Rockefeller laws and all that kind of stuff, getting 10,000 people out of prison, you know.
Simmons did those things.
Yeah. Russell Simmons was a true pioneer. So this is a great segue here. Let me think. When you think of Russell Simmons, what do you think of? Wait, let me say this. We have a 32-year-old man from New York City, living in New York City, knows a lot about hip hop, rapped a little bit, he was a little brolic. Never put the album out, but you did some stuff in hip hop world. You understand the hip hop ideas. When you think of Russell Simmons, what comes to your mind?
Def Jam.
His
record label, him being the face of a record label. I don't really think of him as a philanthropist. I think if you get a certain amount of money, you have to be like a philanthropist by default for some weird reason. Yeah. Especially if you're in the celebrity world, because that's part of
philanthropy and having fame and stuff goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you actually, your intentions, your good intentions, but it looks good on you. It's better for your brand.
Right.
So I never knew Russell Simmons to be anything but like that.
Anything other than Def Jam comes to mind with him.
I'm sure he's done other stuff, but
no. What comes to your mind if you had to tell somebody?
He's in Def Jam. He's Reverend Run's cousin.
Brother.
That's what he is. Yeah.
Reverend Run's brother.
First time I saw him, I even heard of him, I think it was on the episode of Moesha. And he was like he played like himself and 112 hadn't been signed yet. And 112 came and made a cameo. And he was like, he didn't want to work with, he didn't want to work with another person. He only wanted to work with Moesha because he trusted a business acumen.
Okay.
He just seemed like a character.
And Moesha was Brandy.
Yeah. So, even just talking about Russell Simmons just makes me go on a tangent to something that resonated with me more. So I really never ever think about Russell Simmons or had any reverence or really cared about him much.
Right.
Sure, he's. Oh, and didn't we do an episode about his daughter or something? Was that Russell Simmons?
We did an episode about his daughter when she had said she had gave her mother all these props for being a great father during Father's Day, and he flipped out.
Yeah, so I guess that. Yeah, so I guess if that's the other thing that pops into my head. Yeah.
Okay.
But nothing else.
Well, when I think of Russell Simmons, I think of a very great, amazing person. I think of Russell Simmons as a guy who had an idea and no one believed in him, but he believed in himself. And he was able to push this idea and create hip hop in a way where he, to me, played by his own rules, so to speak. It wasn't a record label that was like we talked about Suge Knight and what happened with that woman. This is the third time we're bringing her up. That woman, Velez, Gloria Velez, and how Tupac saved her from this ritual craziness that was about to happen. Def Jam never fell into none of that, though. We don't hear how you see but yet Death Row fell right into all this esoteric, satanic, ritualistic things that went on. Where Def Jam, we never heard that. We never heard about this Illuminati style of a record company. We heard about a guy along with Rick Rubin, along with Giles. What's his name? Giles? Kevin Lyles, I believe. These people, and then what I like about Russell Simmons is that he gives so much respect to DJ Hollywood, the legendary DJ Hollywood. DJ Hollywood is a guy from right here. This is more Bronx, but he's right out of Harlem. Well, I guess he's out of the Bronx too. But when I met him is when I was in the bar business, and he was my Thursday night DJ. So I spent Thursday nights with DJ Hollywood for 10 years. It's a great guy. One of the greatest MCs you're ever going to hear. I was lucky enough and privileged enough to experience that. And I love the way Russell Simmons is constantly giving him props. When Snoop Dogg brought out DJ Hollywood for the 50th anniversary thing they did, and Snoop Dogg came out, he brought out DJ Hollywood. But what we don't know is it's because of Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons is the one who told and encouraged Snoop Dogg to bring out DJ Hollywood. So that was really great. So I really respect that. And I remember all those Rockefeller laws that he was going out of his way to get people to, understand that if you and I are in a vehicle and there's other people in the vehicle, we all get in charge with whatever's in the car is a crime. So it's like, it was really, really horrible to imagine that I'm over here hanging out with my friends. I don't know that this guy, got a couple of grams on him, and cops pull us over. Next thing you know, we all going to jail. Like, that's ridiculous. So he fought really hard for that, and then I did meet Russell Simmons one time. I was at a club, I believe it was the Palladium on 14th Street in Manhattan. Now it's it's the colleges there, the part of NYU. But at the time I was there, and he was leaning against the back of a couch, and I stopped in my tracks and I looked over to my left, and I was like, Russell Simmons, how are you? And he said, hey, how you doing? And he reached out and he gave me the limpest hand I ever experienced. It was I had never felt a man's hand that day. I mean, it was the softest hand I ever felt. It was it left me a little like, I hope I never get soft hands like that. I remember thinking, and mind you, I'm only like 25 years old, 30. I was 25, and women, he's sitting on the edge of the couch. he had a security person with him that was about maybe 3 to 4 feet away. You could tell that they was with him. It might have been 2 guys. And he was there with the Argyle sweater and the hat. And he looked very effeminate. You know, he looked a little dopey, like, you know, like he just, you know, like
he's kind of preppy, no more than like feminine dressing.
no, he wasn't dressing effeminate. His body language, his body movements were not. There was nothing masculine about this man in hip hop.
He just crossed his legs like effortlessly,
like he could just throw his leg on top of the other leg.
It just looks just right.
Yeah, it just fits, right? Yeah, yeah, it was like that. But I remember the hand just being super soft. But it was great that he shook my hand. So, you know, I mean, whatever that, you know, the lack of handshake there was. And then I remember just standing over nearby, and these women that was just walking in were just throwing themselves at him. And he just was just smiling and just like, you know, being really nice. And next thing you know, about 20 minutes later, he got up and left. So, when I think of the guy, I think about him more than just Def Jam. I think about him showing love to DJ Hollywood. I think about him trying to get people out of prisons. And I think about that Rush card. Remember he had the Rush card?
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely don't think that was a good plan. I don't know much about it, but I remember looking into it and just going, whoa, no, thank you. I don't need a Rush card. That sounds crazy. So I know you had to buy into it. You would put in your own money. And it was like a credit card, debit card. Like you would go to the check cashing place and put money down on your card, and you can use that card as a debit card everywhere else. And sound like a good idea, but something about it I can't really remember. I wish I could, because I don't want to say anything too bad about the Rush card. And then I also remember the Fat Farm brand and how years and years and years ago he said, I lost $15 million before I even made any money off of the brand. So he, you know, me being an entrepreneur, I always put that in my mind, like, Jesus Christ, you could be at things for so many years just believing that it'll win and spend so much money until it wins, until it does well. And I also remember that his daughters, he gave them a shoe deal, and they were creating some sort of shoe line. And it was
Russell
like
Simmons has a shoe, or I guess his daughters, like Baby Fat shoe or something.
Yeah, it wasn't Baby Fat. That was the mom.
Oh wait, he's Fat Farm, right? Is he Fat Farm? Yeah, that too.
His wife was Baby Fat, and then the daughters had a sneaker line. And I remember one time it had beat Nike for like a month or two or something like that. It did that well. It was like in a particular quarter that it like did so well. So, you know, little things like that I remember. I look at him positively, but I have to tell you, I think most people are gonna be like you and really not know who the guy is or know who he is, but I think the new people coming up are not gonna know who he is, and the ones that do are gonna look at him as the guy who ran to Bali to escape sexual charges.
I mean, it's definitely possible, because once you get charged with this stuff, that kind of puts an albatross on your whole career.
Yeah, good word, albatross. Oh, man. So what say you in the comments section about Russell Simmons and him? I think the Rush card. Wait, I think of Rush card when I hear about Russell Simmons. You see, everyone has their thing that they think of, you know? But this guy, he started an amazing record label.
You think you're talking about him like he passed away or something.
Interesting that you say that, because it does feel him leaving America and us having nothing but rumors does feel like there is some sort of death. This does feel like there is some sort of I yawned earlier, now you're yawning.
I see. It's contagious, man.
Yeah, you had a good night last night. That's why you're yawning. What's her name and what does she do? Oh, that's what we all want to know. What's her name? What did we do? And let me ask this of you, because we talked about this several times. What say you about this whole idea of consent forms? Remember we talked about this? Because my thing is this: if I'm gonna be with a woman, I'm gonna go to my phone and pull out a consent form and have her sign it.
No, I think if you're a high-profile person, I think there's just more potential for like civil civil kind of civil suit. So I think for that, but for just regular, for me, just like hooking up with somebody, I would never have a consent form.
Yeah, I disagree with you, man. I think you need to have a consent form.
I made it this far.
And the consent, no, you're young. You're 30-something years old. What do you mean you made it this far? As if you have this huge prowess.
My promise. Yep.
Your prowess is just legendary all over these Manhattan bars and stuff.
What I'm saying, whatever. Well, that part of me is winding down at this juncture, at this age. So the past, and yes, I got prowess.
Of course you have prowess, but I didn't know how legendary your prowess was.
It's not legendary.
You can say what you just said.
No, not legendary prowess. But no, I wouldn't have I never really, I got lucky enough where I haven't been in any of those situations, mostly because they don't really contact me again. They don't really exchange information. But
you saying that's actually not a joking matter. Because let me tell you, it's that one night stand that will say that something happened that didn't happen. That will say, "Yo,"
if you don't contact them back or something like that, or just in general, especially when alcohol's involved.
Especially when alcohol is involved. I remember when I was like 15 years old, I had hooked up with this woman, and she was like, "Did we do anything last night?" And I was like, yeah. I remember it really well. And she was just like, "Oh, okay." And I remember, putting that in my mind to never let that happen again. So I've never been in a situation where a woman has been intoxicated, and if she's too intoxicated, I'll just bail out, or maybe I'll even let her sleep it off. Like, you sleep that off, and then in the morning, did we ever do anything? No, we didn't do anything. Pants are still on, and they're buttoned properly the way you left them. You peed all over the damn sheets in bed, but that's because I'm a gentleman. But I say that in jest. I'm just joking about that last part. Even though I did have a woman pee in the bed once.
That's right.
She was like, "Hello, I didn't know where the bathroom was," and I was like, "It's right there." "Oh, I didn't know."
And I'm like, all right, now that's
like, what the hell, man? That's why you just can't have strangers in your bed, man. This is like you gotta be selective. You gotta be stingy with it.
I think it's just drunk. I think drunk hooking up can be like dangerous though. I think drunk hooking up does just lead to like kind of, even though like almost 100% of my hookups have involved alcohol.
100%.
No, not 100%, but like the one night, like where it's just, it goes from meeting them to sex. Yeah, those all involved alcohol.
Right.
I met somebody before and maybe hung out with them a few times and then had sex. And that'd be that. Yeah, but the hookups always involve like alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was in the bar business for like a long time, and I don't mix that alcohol with pleasure, because they can come around and say, "Yo, this didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen," and this person, like I even tell my son, who's only 13 years old, that if a woman says no to you while you're in the middle of being with her, you have to stop.
Yeah, that's like a rule. That's like that didn't used to be a law. I think that's like a law now.
I don't know. I told that to my son. If you are in the middle, and he's a virgin child, but I still want him to know from very, very early on that if a woman says no, you tell her, "No problem." I said, you get up, you put her in a cab, walk her downstairs, you tell her, "No problem, no big deal, don't even worry about it, I don't feel bad." You don't give them attitude or nothing. You tell them, "Have a good night."
Yeah, and it's not gonna, and just think about it logistically, unless you got some kind of conflicts up there. If a woman starts getting uncomfortable and she's gonna start tensing up, it's gonna kind of ruin the mood anyway. So how do you keep going? But then I guess some people who have that kind of mind like to see women in really, really uncomfortable positions. So that's a whole different kind of.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah. These men that want to cause like that sort of drama or fear, you know.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. All right, we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch to another. When you yawn like that, you're supposed to go and tell me what it tastes like. Come on, that was a good yawn right there. Let's go to some videos. We're gonna just kind of like wrap up the week a little bit with what we saw. The Russell Simmons thing. I don't know what to say. I would like for him to win. At the end of the day, I would like to see Russell Simmons win. You know, I want to see a guy like him not be thought of as some sort of predator.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. Literally the same people. Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry. But they didn't make you write those lyrics. It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. You have, the record company pushing the narrative. Some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full. Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
So is this something that we all know already? Nothing to talk about here. We kind of get it. We see this as like normal, par for the course. What say you on this guy, Bill Maher, interviewing Ice Cube with what appears to be a blunt in his hand?
I've never been a big Bill Maher fan. I think a lot of people being in the show business, their personality or their image is somewhat contrived or manufactured, but he's one of the few people I say that's completely just unequivocally just full of shit. Completely.
Wow.
Like just switches. He moves with the wind, but he still has the same arrogance as if he said the same thing the entire time. He is something else, man. I'm really not a fan of Bill Maher.
So when you hear Bill Maher speak in his content, you're just inclined to just like, I don't want to hear whatever he has to say.
I mean, he's like a joke. I don't know how he's been here for so long.
Right. Okay.
Politically Incorrect was whack too.
Yeah, I like Politically Incorrect, but I didn't know about politics then. So me liking.
No, but that go back and watch that show, man. That show it was like a pop show more than anything. There would be the applause breaks were just saying the most trite, simple crap.
Trite.
It's a garner applause show for saying something what they deem to be insightful, but they're not saying anything. So
what say you about Ice Cube talking about the prison system and the prison system and the record labels own? And when he says own, we're talking stock shares, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I own tons of stock in prisons right now. That's GEO. If anybody knows anything about GEO, we can't give any stock advice, but I would definitely put a lot of the apples in that basket.
I don't know if Ice Cube is trying to deter people from a music career or what he's trying to deter fans. Or I don't know what his purpose is actually fully. I don't know what his real intentions are.
Right.
These truth drops. Yeah, I don't know.
Good word, truth drops. This is what a lot of us need is more truth drops from people that actually know. And a lot of times we're not getting enough truth drops. I would like to believe that like a person like Russell Simmons that we just talked about is not giving us enough truth drops. He's not revealing enough for the little guy, the small guy. But we have to remember he is the record label. I remember when we had that here in New York City when there was that park that they took over in downtown. They took over a small park, and they were like protesting. Do you remember that park in New York that they were protesting on down in over there by the World Trade Center?
Gramercy Park, or
no, not Gramercy Park. It's a small. It's barely a park. It's just a small.
Oh, when the Occupy Wall Street crap.
Occupy Wall Street, right? So I remember when he had went to Occupy Wall Street, they had kicked him out because they were like, "What are you talking about? You are the problem. You're the reason. You're the problem. You're the record executive. Get out of here!" And they like, he went over there like, "Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm fighting for the people." And they were like, "Get the F out of here!" They flipped on him and they kicked him out of there. I remember that. So,
could he really not read the room though?
He clearly couldn't read the room. The room full of half of them were police officers. That year, New York City gave up something like $700 million to the protesters because the cops were just out of control, pepper spraying everybody, kicking people off bikes, just hitting them with the batons for no reason, peaceful protesting. And
those motherfuckers were annoying as shit. Oh, excuse me. That Occupy Wall Street was an annoying movement. So
did you get into what they were trying to do? Did you dissect it?
No.
You can't go by the news. Maybe you were looking at the news back then.
Well, the purpose was saying that that the people on Wall Street take advantage of smaller people. I guess that was their point. That was their argument, even though it wasn't really an argument. But that I don't know. They want to. I don't know. Can you explain it better what their movement is? Because that's all I. That's all I got.
I tried to understand it, and then I realized that it got co-opted by the NYPD, and they even did like a whole documentary series about how the NYPD infiltrated the whole thing and went in there, and it was so silly. It was like, come on, shout respect to the people who got a check for getting bust upside the head by NYPD. That was told to do it. Yeah. So there you go. There's that. All right. So let me think about what he said though. You see this? I don't want to get away from it. He said a lot in that little bit of period of time, and that's Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ice Cube said that there are rooms where people are writing songs. Ulrich is doing some stretches right now. Ulrich is a guy who can do a full split, and he likes to wait till he's drunk and on the dance floor to show it off. He's like,
my body's quite sore.
True. Yeah, your body's sore. Last night was a good night.
Oh, shit.
Last night was a good night. He says that there are these bumpers, like when you're bowling. When the kids come out, they put the bumpers up so that the ball will never go into the gutter. So if you want a song that's never going to go into the gutter, we got these 7 guys, and we're all going to create this music together. And we're going to create you a hit. And let me tell you, there's a guy named Tom McDonald. He's an independent hip-hop artist. He's a white guy. You know Tom McDonald?
I told the doc surgeon used to love him.
Likes him a lot. Right. Well, he was number 2 in the world for sales of his album, and the number 1 song, or number 2 in the country for the song, right? His song was number 2 as far as, I don't think Billboard, I don't think it was Billboard. Billboard is how many people buying your album.
It was just a big song.
It was a big song. It was number 2.
Yeah, no, Billboard
on the charts. Billboard charted.
Billboard isn't album sales either. It's crazy. Billboard's like something else too.
Really?
It's like a committee or something like that.
Wow, look at that. See, you learn something here on Premium Black News. So we have this guy, Sheridan, what's his name? He's the white guy. He's like kind of chubby, and he does all these big songs.
He's like a writer?
No, he's a singer. He's a singer guy. He's
Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran. So Ed Sheeran's number 1, Tom McDonald's number 2, and Tom McDonald is on his Instagram, and he's like, "Let me show you something." And he shows his song, and he's like, "Look at that! I'm the writer of this song." He says, "Let's go to the number 1 song in the country," and he's like, showing all the people there. He said 8 writers, 8 people wrote this song. He says that's what you're up against in this record company business. So he's saying the same thing as Ice Cube is saying. Ice Cube is saying these people are writing these songs for these people, and they're encouraging you to, ooh, that last part, that last part was kind of fly. Remember when you had dropped the other nigga? You said nigga 8 times, but then the way you said the third nigga, that nigga was better than the other niggas. You should put that back in there. So what say you about these bumpers that are created where these groups of people are making all this music? AKA Nipsey Hussle.
I think record companies don't want to lose. And I guess artists aren't really like artists as far as a creator is supposed to be, but they're like a mouthpiece for like, they're like I don't want to, I guess this is how I see them, especially more popular artists with the multiple writers, but they're not actually, they're not creators. They're not creative. They're like almost factory workers. No, it's more like they're doling out like it's like they're making a car in effect, like an assembly line.
Assembly line, yeah.
It's like a pop song except an assembly line.
Exactly. All right, let's go to the next one. What say you in the comments?
Literally the same people. Literally the same. What's your age?
24.
How much money should a 25-year-old man be bringing in yearly?
I would say like 30,000, 40. But I'm saying a lot of females want men to be making like hella money. So, but a lot of the times, my homegirl's talking about 80,000. She's talking about 80.
No, I mean, if you're gonna talk, you might as well.
80,000. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. I'm a 50-50 type bitch. So you do your shit and I got my shit. We added together, that's 80K.
So if a man said to you, let's go to Chipotle for a first date, you don't?
Hell yeah, I'm down. Yeah. I've been on less dates than Chipotle.
Like Burger King or what?
McDonald's.
You really been on a McDonald's first date?
Yup. Going to get ice cream, chilling in the parking lot, topping it up.
How long ago was that?
Probably like a year ago.
And why do you accept McDonald's as a first date?
So a first date is just getting to know somebody. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna drop $100, $200 on you to get to know you.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Yeah, what a cutie patootie.
Cutie patootie.
And that guy was trying to get her to say something too.
Well, I like the fact that she's a bit on the hood side. I just want to double check this. Oh, you're right. This is from. I like that she's like a hood chick, and she's not falling into that whole you gotta spend a certain amount of dollars on me, which to me, most hood girls are like this. And when I say hood chick, what am I saying when I say hood chick? The way she pronounced her words when she tried to say that she was a 50-50 kind of a chick, this is not an educated woman. This is not a sophisticated woman. This is a hood chick who understands the power of just getting to know somebody.
She's mature. She's mature. Yeah. The only thing hood about her is just her dialect.
And the way she dressed.
Oh, yeah.
And the friends that she hangs with. And the fact that she thinks that this is a good place to go party.
Wait, what place?
I don't know. It look like Miami. It look like a strip, like she jumped on a plane to go over there to party. Stop it. So is she recognizing her worth, and should more women recognize their
what worth? You can only be worth something if you your worth is just what you produce out to them. Literally, your work is what you produce.
So she doesn't have any worth.
No, not. I don't know where you can how you quantifying what work. I guess you can say.
I'm saying if she was a little more articulate, a little more educated, a little more maybe refined, then maybe she wouldn't deserve. Maybe a McDonald's wouldn't work.
This job market that doesn't really help you anymore. Mm-mm.
What do you mean?
You should. What's that?
Whoa, I don't know. A guy is chasing a car. He's running out of gas. We get to see a lot of things over here, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, what? Whoa. Whoa, what the? Whoa.
Oh, look, they're driving off while they keep trying to get in the car. Oh, they just playing. Like, you know how when you try to get in the car, they just drive up and they drive up? That's all it's, you know.
That was a weird kind of dude. I would have hit that kid in the face if he do that. I would have punched him. I would have seriously been that pissed off. Dude, look at because he ran from far. Dude, he had him chase him all the way down. That's when they can play too much. That was not even funny. Yeah, that's not too much.
All right, so let's go to the next one. So what do you say about her? What do you think about this girl?
I like her.
I like her too.
Yeah,
I like her too.
Sweetheart. See, I don't judge. She's you know, I don't know if I can bring her.
Well, she's a breath of fresh air to these internet streets saying stuff like that.
To know if anyone visits you.
Yeah, my brother came.
To know if anyone visits you.
Yeah, my brother came. All my friends, yes, absolutely. Yes, I had money on your book.
That's weird. It's like,
oh, this is good.
I had no worries in the prison. Yeah, this is another thing I want to tell people, for everybody out there. Everybody that's in jail, you feel so bad for the person that's in jail. They're missing out on life, yes. They're not missing anything, though. As far as responsibilities, you got to wake up at a certain time and take your ass to bed. That's it. You don't have no bills to pay. You have no responsibilities. You have no anything to uphold. Nothing. Your life is scot-free. You got to sleep and eat. That's it. And they give you those bills that you eat. You get what I'm saying? So it's not no, no, you're not. You wake up, you're in the best shape of your life, you're looking good, you're not stressed. Honestly, bro, jail is way easier than real life.
I mean, I agree with that.
Oh my gosh, she's been like 16 years.
Today, obviously, is the day of women talking about some truth.
Sure.
Women are spitting some facts today on this premium Black News channel. Dude, we're talking about a woman who's saying how when people are in jail, they are all right. They don't have to worry. Like paying bills. It's no joke, man. Being a grown-up is no joke. It costs so much money to just survive. And you got all these jailbirds thinking that they owe, like, yo, you said you was going to send that. Is any chance I could get, like, yo, I'm struggling, I'm suffering. You out there in the world, you doing good. And then, you know, this is the word they like to use. You out there, everything is solidified for you, but, you know, I'm over here. Dude, what are you talking about? You know, I have this friend of mine, yo. I told him when he came out of prison for doing 22 years, I will help you, but you got to show me that you can, you know, help yourself, because you've been getting free toilet paper for the last 24 years or maybe 22 years. Free toilet paper for 22 years. I said, you never paid for toilet paper in your life. He said, yeah, I just started paying for toilet paper. I've been going to the 99-cent store and they don't even last. They don't even last. I was like, yo, my guy.
Poor guy.
He couldn't
That's
get
a
it.
shock, though. That is a shock.
Yeah. He couldn't get it. After 22 years of being in prison, he just wanted to constantly be taken care of. I said, dude, I can't take care of you. Once I got to like $3,000-4,000, I was like, I sent them all the emails. I sent them all the screenshots of all the cash apps that I sent them. And I said, yo, dude, you still have not figured out. Oh, the whole time I keep telling him, listen, I'm gonna help you out. You're my friend. You saved my life when I was 14 years old. I'm still thankful for you. You saved my life. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have been dead. I agree. You know, like, that's a fact. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have been dead. You went to prison. You saved he saved my life when I was 14. He went to prison on some crazy shit that he did. Nothing to do with, you know, our friendship. But while he was gone for 22 years, every 6 months, every year, sometimes I might take 2 years off. I hit him with $100. I hit him with $100 maybe twice a year. Nothing crazy, because I'm not into. I just not into giving people in jail money. It just doesn't make sense to me. You could in jail, you got to figure out how to hustle. Come on, you know, you got to get you. You need to get you a kitchen job. You know what I'm saying? You need to get you a kitchen job. You need to work out and figure out how to. You know, like you don't need to be depending on me. So for the 22 years, you know, I will hook him up. You know, he comes home, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I'm gonna help you out, but you got to be able to, you know, figure out how to make some money. You know, how to just get that hustle spirit." Yo, he couldn't do it, man. He just couldn't do it. I'm like, dude, can you make? I'm like, yo, dude, I'm gonna send you the $200. Here's the $200. You need to pay your rent or whatever it was. But can you please make $20 a day legally? He would call me up and be like, yo, you need to come out here. Yo, we could put some work on the block and all that. I said, you want me to leave New York City, drive up to Buffalo, New York, so you can get your drug deal game on? Right. That makes sense. Then I asked the dude, I said, yo, what are your dreams? He said, yo, I want to work in Dollar Tree. So I can Family Dollar. So I can just so much stuff I could have go out the back door. I'm like, wow. So, you know, like, dude, you're not even thinking. Like, so I agree with this woman. She's like, yo, people in jail, they don't even, you know what's it like to have to, I got to take care of a wife and 2 kids. You know how every day is, we talking about just in food alone is $60 a day. If we're cooking. Yeah,
I should do that up.
If we're cooking, it's $60 a day. Just if we're cooking, if we're eating out, we're talking $100 a day, $115 a day. So my whole thing is like these jail people, they don't get it. They think they're in there suffering. No, the guy who has to get up every fucking day, excuse my language, and go to work, he's the gangster, he's the tough guy. You are just sitting there wondering if you're gonna go to the yard today. And they might even have mandatory yards. You gotta go out. Go get some fresh air. I mean, I don't know if it's mandatory yards, but I'm just saying, you know, it's really refreshing to hear that young lady say that. Because so many people just play this victim and they push it on their families.
Yeah.
They push. When I had to do that 30 days in Connecticut, and I told you about the 30 days in Connecticut before. We talked about this. You know, I went up to Connecticut.
And the cop.
It was an undercover cop. Yeah. It was an undercover cop. It was some cannabis. So I eventually had to do 30 days in the Connecticut jail system. And let me tell you, man. These dudes were ordering see-through TVs.
What's a see-through TV?
That means where you can see all the mechanisms inside of it. The plastic is see-through. So
are those nicer TVs?
I don't know, but it's in there. Not even a cell. There's no cells. It's on their bunk, or it's on the edge of the bunk. They got a television. Why? And then they have to turn off their TV the same time the TV in the day room goes off. So the TV in the day room has to be off by a certain time. Your television on your bunk, or let's say there's cells, that television has to go off at the same time. So you're not even able to watch your television. You're not even able to play video game. You can't play a video game on your TV. You can't watch the television past the time that everybody else gets to watch their TV, but you get to floss that you got a TV. Yeah, you know, I'm over here. I'm going to go watch my joint, you know. Y'all going to watch this. I'm going to watch that. 10 o'clock, nobody's watching anything. So it's like, it was disturbing. It was disturbing to see how these people just were like, guilting their families to taking care of them. Like, what are y'all doing? Anyway, I digress. What you got to say about this young lady in the jails?
I mean, I think it's a lot. I mean, you think about your whole day is structured for yourself. It's a lot crazy when you got a day in front of you and nothing on your agenda, and then you got to make something out of it. Like that's where life becomes a thing, and then you have to make something productive out of it.
Right.
Sometimes, so that's and Joe, come on, you know exactly when you can eat. You don't even have to think about when you can eat. You got to think about when you got to eat and stuff like that.
They probably be, man. We be eating dinner by 4:30. I'll be hungry around 8 o'clock. You need to send me some money.
Yeah, but,
I need to make me a sandwich. Yay.
That's tough.
Thanks.
No, that's the last video, man.
That's the last video?
The last video was the Russell Simmons.
All right, so that was the Russell Simmons thing. What let's talk about really quickly is Ulrich is not into the social media thing. He's into actually going out and meeting people. Hence his voice today. Okay. Ulrich goes out.
I'm also sick, so it could have been that too. It's a combination of both.
Okay. All right. So Ulrich is sick because he goes out to meet people, and then when you meet people and you're swapping spit, you could potentially. Wait. I mean, you're sharing a sandwich. When you're sharing a hero sandwich with a person you just met, you could potentially get their cold.
Oh my God, I've been sick for days.
Yeah, right. So,
the social media.
He doesn't know about really what's going on these YouTube streets.
No.
You know about the video vixen. What's this video vixen's name? My wife tried to say that she was a hottie. She's 53 years old right now. She's on the Joe Button podcast. He's one of the new arrivals to the Joe Button podcast, along with Queen's Flip. You know that there's Ish and what's the other guy with Ish? I've done a few shows about Ish. Ice. There's Ice, Ish, and Joe Buttons.
Okay.
Not Buttons. I'm sorry, Joe Button. And pump it up.
Yeah.
So now he brought in Queen's Flip, who had his own network thing going on, still does, and he brought in the female co-host. And this female co-host was responding to, I'll get her name in a second. It's in my mind. Can somebody help me in the chat what her name is? Who's the co-host? She's an ex-video vixen, 53 years old. My wife said she's a hottie. I said, Kevin Samuels said, there are no 10s after 40. So she can't even be a hottie at 53. That ain't happening. So she made a comment on what Cameron and Mace have their own show. You know about the Cameron and Mace,
we were talking about it last week.
Well, Cameron and Mace, Cameron's told the story about when him and Mace were in 1992. They were like 16 years old. They went to a whorehouse, and they had a good time. She then now is responding to this show, and she says, yeah, I wonder how many underage girls were there. So Ish and Ice, along with Joe Budden, starts to like, yo, calm that down. Don't say that. What's wrong with you? Come on. You go over. She's like, no, I always see that on A&E shows and all this sex trafficking. There's always these young minors in these places. Cameron then gets pissed off. Can you tell us who the woman is on the Joe Button show? I can't remember her name. She's too old and forgettable.
I'm sure she's lovely.
Yeah, I'm sure she's lovely too. I can't get past a woman's forehead that's all the way right there. If her forehead matches with her ears, if her forehead matches with her ears, her hairline, I can't do nothing with that.
Wait, I'm just looking this person out. Now that
I don't know why. LJ always fronting like she in the chat, but she really ain't. Well, she's working. It's all good.
Co-host.
she was also in a podcast with that other guy, the Hispanic guy that they were saying gagging.
Is it her?
What's her name?
No, it's not. No, this looks like it's his girlfriend.
No, just a Joe Button podcast. You should have just typed up.
I did. Melissa Ford. Oh, Melissa Ford.
Thank you.
The video is everybody.
No worries. It's expected.
They know Melissa Ford drives a Honda Accord. She's a video vixen.
Yeah. Melissa Ford drives a Honda Accord. Who was that? The Game, right? The Game did that rhyme. Yeah. Melissa Ford drives a Honda. Yeah. That was a hot song. Well, Melissa Ford is, she was on another podcast, a really, really popular podcast. And I think she was fired from that podcast. So now she's on the Joe Budden podcast. And we talking about the internet flipped out on her. Because their attitude is like, why would you even put that in that story with the minors? And like what are you doing?
It takes away everything you said before, and it brings all the attention just to that statement you said.
Right.
It's such a powerful accusatory statement, and just say. But she kind of dumb, because it is crazy just to put that out there after saying it. She's like a lot of there's these like sports analysts that do the same nonsense. I forgot what this woman's name. She's like notorious for she would talk about an NBA prospect and talk about something that they were accused of in high school that they didn't get convicted of, but it would just be from left field. Like, this also guy was also involved in a fatal shooting, but no one was accused. Just bring that. Like, what are you saying? This has nothing to do with it.
She left the part where he was being robbed.
Yeah,
right, and it was self-defense.
No, it wasn't even part of that. Like his friend, he was in the car, and it's even less than that. But she decided just to sprinkle it. She just saying.
So Melissa Ford, when you hear her being accused of, not being accused,
this is her trying to like add something to. This is how she adds value.
She's trying to add value to the show.
But
what say you when Joe Button was confronted about this? He said, "Oh yeah, we asked."
Confronted about which part? He
was confronted about her, just like, what's up with you? The key was this show was pre-recorded. Why is it still in the show? Why didn't you just edit that out? And he said, we asked her, do you want us to edit out that part? And she said, no, leave it in. So it's still his network. Why is she having some sort of power to let it in? And then there was a whole drama because he had issues with this rapper, NBA Youngboy. You know NBA Youngboy?
I hear that name.
He has that weird indentation on his forehead.
No, but I hear that name constantly.
When you going to Punjab barber? I need to go to the barber. Right? Look how long my hair is. But let me answer this comment. I need to go to the barber, but the problem is they're cutting my hair too low in the back, and I'm getting razor bumps. So I had like 2 or 3 or 4 bumps back here. Still got them. 2 of them never even made it out of the surface of the skin. So I do not want to have a bunch of bumps in the back of my head. So I have to now let the hair grow out. So are you saying that I need to hit the barber? Come on, is that what you're saying? Look at this beautiful hair I got here. Come on.
That's definitely what they're saying.
Yeah, look at this. Old Rick would give a left testicle up for a hair like this if he could.
I would not.
Look at this. Come on. So Melissa Ford, who I was trying not to say her name, that heifer, 53 years old, talking about she's a hottie. That's over. Your hottie days are over.
She's put together. She put together pretty solidly.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's not her brain that she has to exercise. It's not her brain that's led her where she's going or where she's at. And then here's the thing: Cameron goes on his live and he flips out. He starts talking about, well, he doesn't flip out like I expected. He actually was kind of calmer than I expected, mainly because he got this $30 million deal. Him and Cameron and Mace have this $30 million deal for their show. So I'm sure he can't really, it wouldn't be smart for him to go off. So he flipped out. He even brought up a time where Ice-T, not Ice Cube, Ice-T gave her $2,000 and took her into a public bathroom and, you know, had his way with her. And then he stopped himself and said, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about anything else, but I could talk more about you. And then Star does a show from the Star Report, Troy Terrain. 9,000 people in the live. Like this, his Star show was lit off of this subject. People were calling in, giving up different takes. Mainly, it was about hating on what she did. Then
with Ice-T or the comment?
No, just the comment itself. Yeah. So what happened was she decided to what happened? Ice-T, not Ice-T. That's over. Cameron is flipping about it. And Star then accuses one of the other co-hosts of orchestrating this and saying, you know what? The guy who's on the show, his name is Queen's Flip. I'm accusing him of orchestrating the whole thing. Queen's Flip then calls the Star show to deny having any involvement whatsoever and says that he only tweeted what he tweeted just for algorithm purposes. He said, I only tweeted what I said because he didn't say that she said anything bad. He was being a good co-host and kind of defending her and then asking, where are the women at? Where are the women to defend her and come to her aid? Something to that effect. So he said he only made that tweet for algorithm purposes. So Star had twisted it. Then Cameron went back publicly and said, I'm going to sue you. And then Joe Budden, he's going to sue Joe Budden because Star had mentioned that it could be future lost revenue. For defamation of character, he would not do defamation of character. He would do future lost revenue. So Joe Budden went on. Oh, and I was talking about NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy was coming after Joe Budden crazy. So this was probably to help get the fire and heat off of Joe's back. So this Melissa Ford thing, it's been orchestrated to some degree by, I mean, just for him saying that he asked her if it's okay, what does she want to do? And she said, leave it. Joe is getting all that NBA Youngboy heat off of him. So now Cameron is like, I'm going to sue you guys. And Joe has responded back and saying that you guys don't even have enough money. Mind you, they just made $30 million. So he's like, you don't even have enough money to have lawyers on deck like that to sue me. You guys are, I think he referred to them as not clowns, but goofies or something to that effect. You know, so that's just the latest in the YouTube streets that you were unaware of.
That is some salacious shit.
It's juicy out there. Those YouTube streets are so juicy. Oh man, it was so good.
I know all this. I'd never heard any of this. And
let me just say this, because I said this earlier to LJ. I love the fact that Troy Terrain from the Star Report had a show. 2 hours into the show, he comes up with the alternative theory that Queen's Flip is the one who orchestrated it. And then Queen's Flip calls the show after the show's been on 2 hours. Most people cannot take a show and have that show generate snowball to new ideas and it was brilliant. It was brilliant potting. It was some of the best potting I've ever heard.
I got to check that podcast out.
It's great. It was great. It was a great podcast. Let me just also say this, and this is the reason why I didn't call the show. I didn't call the show because I didn't want to mess up the momentum at the time. But I don't have a problem with what she said. I don't have a problem with her asking the question. If there's a question here, and the question is, I wonder how many underage girls were there. And I would say, first we need to find out, where was this whorehouse? It was, I think they said it was in Harlem somewhere. So I've probably been there. In 1992, no, I wasn't there in 1992. Maybe waited until 1997, 1996. But And then I knew the guy. There's only two really, and one was owned by this guy named Shy, and the other one was owned by a good friend of mine. The one who was supposed to come on the show, who never showed up, who never picked up my calls. He used to own one of those too. But that's a story for another day. And let me just say this. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking the hard and tough and uncomfortable questions. Was it tacky for her to say what she said? I don't think so. I don't. I think, yeah, the question is how many minors were there. This is the thing. The guys that went there and they were only 16, they were minors.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, why would she assume that there were even minors at a whorehouse? I don't know if or whatever, a brothel. I don't even know if a whorehouse are indicative of or known for having minors. Are they?
Not. No. The ones I ever been to.
So what is she?
These were battle scars.
Does she mean how many minors were able to go there?
No, I don't think so.
That would be a reasonable question, because that actually has to do with it, because they went in there as minors.
They went in there as minors. I wonder
how many minors go there and able to go. Wow. That's at least that's somewhat connected.
Right. The other way is just like you start
what
trouble.
Are you talking about?
You start trouble. But my thing is this: it's okay to ask the questions.
No. If that would be. I get her getting heat for bringing that up just out of left field. Because that I think she deserves criticism.
Right.
I think.
I do get that too. Man. But I think the question is, we should ask people who have been to brothels and places like that. I've been to quite a few. I've never seen an underage person there. Ever.
Yeah. Anyway, what are they gonna have their IDs ready? Come on.
Well, I mean, the ones I've seen they were vets, man.
Yeah.
These girls were these were veterans, the Marlboro smokers, with your voice, like, whoa. Everything okay? Yeah, everything's all right, honey. Everything's all right, honey. I'm Big Elvis the Chef Rosenberg.
Amor.
And this is Premium Black News. And let's always know that I love you. Let's not get it twisted.
I've grown on me.
Thank you for being here.
On the special Saturday pop-up show. Much love.
Boom!